Quote, looks, assets, game. Have two, three's best, but if you only have one, game is the most essential. Quote by Rollo Tomassi, author of The Rational Male. Game isn't pickup. Pickup is a strategy to mimic the surface elements of game, but it's definitely not game. Pickup is an unnatural act, a memorized reproduction of the what of the game without understanding the why behind it. I see people make this very same mistake when it comes to finance and investing. They see Apple's stock climbing, they hear about all the people making big returns, and they're told by these experts on Bloomberg TV to buy it. So what they do next is invest a ton of money into Apple because they think, hey, it's the logical thing to do. I mean, it must be, right? It's what they have been told to do. It's what has been working for everybody else, so therefore it will probably work for them too. Well, wrong. You have bought a stock and you have no fucking clue what its value is in relation to what it's being priced at. You have no exit strategy based on looming macroeconomic factors or technical trends. You have no idea how to determine how the company will realistically perform in the coming months. And you've put in zero amount of time or effort into learning the proper psychology of successful investing. Now, I don't care if that stock climbs by 200% in the next 12 months. There is an extremely good chance that you are gonna lose money for being a fucking idiot. And if not, congratulations, you've made dumb fucking money. Watch what happens next. Your confidence irrationally rises due to sheer luck. You invest even more money into another stock that you know nothing about. And this time you lose your shit. Oh well, I got unlucky, market fucked me. No, jackass, you fucked yourself by not learning shit about the why of the investing, and I hope you learned your fucking lesson. Now, the difference between game and pickup is strikingly similar to the difference between intelligent investing and retail investing. The former strategies, that is game and intelligent investing, are tried, proven, and require a large investment of time and effort to understand the why at a granular level. But over time, they're extremely profitable strategies. Whereas the latter strategies, pickup and retail investing, are mindless replications of short-term trends, a mimicking of a what which had worked for someone else in the past for some reason or another, and requires zero amount of time or effort to be expended into understanding the why. So then it shouldn't be a surprise that retail investing and pickup are, more often than not, unprofitable strategies. The vast majority of retail investors lose their shit, and the vast majority of pickup artists are unhappy losers who spend their life chasing women who, for some reason unbeknownst to them, can see through all the bullshit. Sure, retail investors make money sometimes, but watch how quickly they lose that shit. And yes, pickup artists get laid sometimes, but they confuse what was actually scraps for being the main course of a buffet, and they live a long and miserable life trying to jump to the front of that buffet line. Fat chance, buddy. Game, the most important component of your SMV. Why? Because game is part of who you are as a man. It's your charisma, your social intelligence, and your proficiency in the art of seduction. Game is the deeply ingrained belief that you are confident and self-sufficient, which manifests itself in the form of outcome independence. It's an acquired knowledge, a mastery of how to deal with people, which you have such an intuitive understanding of that everyone seems to automatically like you. You don't need to consciously try anymore. You know what you're doing. Everyone likes you, so what's there to think about? You've mastered the game, and people are more than happy to give you everything you could possibly want from them. They're addicted to you, helplessly seduced under your spell. Game is the ability to be effortlessly likable to others, and the fact that it's effortless will paradoxically make people like you even more. But make no mistake, when it comes to the game, reaching this level of effortless mastery is only possible if you have already invested a large amount of time and effort into apprenticing yourself in game. So think about this. Looks fade, assets grow, and unless you are a complete jackass, you'll make sure your game never stops improving. That is, unless you want to be the 40-something-year-old guy who thinks it's time to exit the SMP and risk everything on signing a marriage contract. Because when a man is starving, a steady supply of a washed-up pussy seems like manna in the desert. Give him a guarantee of that washed-up pussy and he'll be willing to cross a street where 60% of men get hit by the cars. That is marriage. Don't be that guy. Learn game so you never have to be that guy. It's so goddamn important, which is why I'm concerned when I read widely accepted comments like this. I think the red pill is much more about improving the product and teaching men to improve themselves, which not only benefits you with women but in other areas of your life, whilst game is just cheap salesmanship. Which brings me to my next point. We have been brainwashed to prioritize the importance of improving the product, while undermining the importance of cheap salesmanship. Game has always existed. The book, The Art of Seduction, recounts a plethora of men and women throughout history who mastered the game to a T. A lot of them were not even good looking, but game is what made them universally attractive. It made them master seducers. It was never a problem because people never had a clue how these seducers were pushing their buttons in all the right ways. They just liked it. They fucked these people over and over, regardless of who they were married to and despite a mutually understood knowledge of the seducer's unhinged promiscuity. Were the seducers eventually exiled from society, you ask? No, they were fucking rock stars. Heralded celebrities who gained political and social power because something about them just made everybody like them, regardless of all the flaws they casually shrugged off time and time again. I shit you not. And the fact that we continue to share stories about these people, the fact that we still champion their likability and heavily overlook their flaws, lends a lot of credence to that fact. Game is power, and power is the only thing which has continually proven to make a man happy in this world. But when pickup was born in the 90s, people became aware of many of the surface elements of game, and women were fucking disgusted by it. How could men do this? The blue pill conditioned masses would ask. What fucking pigs? The pickup artists, lacking frame, because, remember, they never learned game, they just mimicked it, responded by redefining game as self-improvement. We're not trying to trick you, we're working on improving ourselves to give you better options in the SMP. And thus, game was abandoned in favor of improving ourselves for the purpose of pleasing women. Now, I'm in no way, shape or form against self-improvement. In fact, I strongly encourage it. But if you're doing it primarily for women or anyone else but yourself, then you, my friend, are a chode. The power of mastering cheap salesmanship. Let's take a look at another comment that mortified me when I read it. Good salesman with a Corvette gets 60 grand. Good salesman with a Geo Metro gets 2 grand. They both sell, but you get a lot more for a quality product. Or wrong. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It could be dirt, Zimbabwe currency, or a toilet seat. If you're not treating that worthless piece of shit like gold, and if you're not convincing the buyer that it's gold, then congratulations, bro, you're a fuck-awful salesman. You've let the buyer determine the value of your product, man. And worse, you've agreed to accept the price which they determined. If you had a backbone, then you would be making the price because you are the salesman. It's your job to take the buyer for everything they've got. And if not, next. That's the difference between success and failure. Because being average is a failure in most people's book. You get one life. Why waste it being an average? Why accept anything less than what you want? There's millions of people out there just waiting to give you what you want. You just need to do a better job at convincing them to give it to you. Get hungry, grow some brass balls, learn game, and take what you want. No one's gonna stop you if you're doing it covertly. Jordan Belfort spent years making a fortune by selling ignorant people worthless pink shit stocks for ridiculous prices. They were happy to buy that worthless crap and even excited about their purchase. What do you think he would tell you if you stated that game isn't all that important and it's all about selling the best product possible? He'd probably call you a fucking pussy, and rightfully so. Because the only difference between flipping worthless stocks and game is that there's no law saying that a below average looking man cannot game a 9 into his bedroom. Think about that. And now try telling me why game isn't all that important. Tell me why that's not the same exact thing that a weak-minded salesman would tell me. Tell me again why making yourself more appealing to others is more important than taking other people for everything they've got and making them want to give it to you in the process. Because to me, it sounds like some of us are better at selling the ineffectiveness of salesmanship than actually striving to be master salesmen. Game is the king. It always has been, and it always will be.